Welcome to the Christian Romance Podcast, where we go behind the books with inspiring Christian romance authors, exploring faith, love, and the journey that brings the story to life. I'm your host, Kelly Jo Wilson, and today we're chatting with Terri Reed. Terri is a New York Times bestselling author whose award-winning romance and romantic suspense novels have been featured on Publishers Weekly, USA Today, and Amazon bestseller lists. Her heartwarming story, A Family Under the Christmas Tree, was adapted into the Hallmark movie, Picture a Perfect Christmas. Terri lives in the Pacific Northwest with her college sweetheart husband, and when she's not writing, she's enjoying time with family and training her energetic dog in agility. Be sure to stay tuned to the end of the episode so you can hear more about our newest book giveaway for this month. Now, here's my conversation with Terri. Hi, Terri. I am so happy to have you on the Christian Romance Podcast today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I am very honored to be a guest.
Yes, for sure. I'm honored to have you. You have such a wonderful author career. You write these amazing stories. You write the sweet inspirational stories and the romantic suspense and these wonderful Christmas books. I just am so happy to be chatting with you today and to just learn more about you.
Well, thank you. It's been a
Yes.
fun journey.
I'm sure. Why don't you just start by letting our listeners know what kind of books that you write and just a little more about yourself, how you kind of got started writing and even what your faith journey kind of looked like throughout that.
Well, I write mostly I write romantic suspense for Harlequin's love-inspired suspense. And these are books filled with faith and family, mayhem, danger, romance. It has it all. And then I do, like you said, I've written sweet, inspirational romance. One of them was turned into a Hallmark movie, and so that was really fun. Picture a Perfect Christmas. That was came out in 2019. I started writing when I was pregnant with my daughter, when I didn't do pregnancy well. So it gave me something to concentrate on. And I really fell in love. I loved reading, and I thought, I want to do this. It took me 10 years of writing and learning and submitting before I sold. And I sold a sweet, inspirational novella to Barber Publishing that was set in a suburb of my hometown of Sonora. So it was set in Columbia, which is this old gold rush town outside of where I grew up. But it was set back in the 1800s, and it was really fun. And from there, I decided, well, Harlequin had opened their Love Inspired. Back then it was called Steeple Hill. And I thought, that's what I want. So I just did everything I could to target them. I went to every workshop I could find, read every book, studied them, broke them apart, and started writing them. And finally, so that was when I discovered them. It was in 96, and I sold to them in 2003. And then I've been selling for them ever since. So it's been a long time.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love how you did your homework, that you went and you got into the books and you were like, yes, this is what I want to do, and kind of broke them down, because especially with their stories, I feel like there is kind of a formula. There's like a certain voice throughout the types of stories. Even though the stories are all so different, they all have such a unique kind of flair to them. But I feel like there is a little bit of a like a formula to be studied, with those kind of books. And I think that that's so neat that you took the reins.
Well, that was the only way what's going to happen is if I did the work. And so that's what I felt led to do. And so that's what I did.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So writing the suspense books now, so you write a lot of books with the K-9 focus.
I do.
So why don't you talk a little bit about that, how that looks, like the research, because I know you have your Australian Shepherd.
Yes.
That you do agility training with. So does that kind of play into some things that you can add into those books? Like what does that look like, kind of the behind the scenes of that?
Yes. So, gosh, like 13 years ago, maybe, I wrote in the first continuity series that Love Inspired Suspense did with a dog on the cover and the dog in the book. And it was a working dog. And I was like, oh, this is so great. Um, I had a different Australian Shepherd at the time, and she was older. And so, but it was still, you know, using the same principles of obedience training that I used for her in the book, and then did all the research, went to citizens academies for different police departments and got to talk to the canine officers and meet the canine dogs and watch them do different demonstrations like taking down a suspect and ooh, what does that feel like, and being able to ask, you know, the person who was in the body armor suit being taken down by a dog, what did that feel like? Oh, so that was really fun. And then when I got my current dog, I got her at 8 weeks, so started training her. And it just so happened that the next book I was writing was about a dog trainer. So I got to incorporate everything I was learning through dog training into that book. And so that was really fun. And I think that was one of my favorite books. I think that was Serve to Protect. And so with every book, each dog is different. I have different breeds, and they all have different specialties. And so it's always fun to dig in and see what those specialties are and how the different dogs are trained for those specialties. And interestingly, some dogs are cross-trained. And so it really makes it complicated. And the dogs are always constantly wanting to work. I mean, they love to work. And especially the shepherds. That's why a lot of German shepherds, Malinois, even Australian shepherds, they love to work. And so that's really fun. Yeah. The book that I have coming out in June, it's a black lab, and she has amber colored eyes. Her name is Amber.
Aw.
And she loves to work too. So dogs, they love to please their humans.
That is so wonderful to remember. I feel like sometimes it's so easy to get, cozied up, and we want the dogs, especially like working. Thankfully can work from home, me and my husband both. So we get to spend time. We have a runner. We can put our dog, we have a Rottweiler. We put her on the runner and we can spend time with her. But sometimes she'll be like barking and wanting to go out. And we're like, just go lay down. And then I'm like, she needs exercise. Like, just because I don't exercise as much as I should does not mean that she doesn't need it to.
Right.
But that's really neat. That's really neat to know like how much they really love to work and just to be part of that. And that you got to see some of these like, takedown and all these like skills and things. That is so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing it in action and then being able to ask, like you said, like the person being taken down, I feel like that makes it so authentic as well. Like when you're writing these stories, because otherwise you're just trying to kind of figure it out. And I know nowadays it's probably a little bit easier to do some of the research and to get some, but there's nothing like hearing that firsthand, like, I was terrified when this dog
and I left
took me
bruises
down.
on my arm and
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's funny. My a good friend of mine who I grew up with, her sister became a police officer and she just won. They had like some kind of, it was like a contest or she just won an award for her. Like she has a canine unit. She has her dog Ruby, and they just won an award for, I think it was narcotics sniffing or something like that.
Yeah. There are so many different competitions within the police departments and different regions. It's it's very robust is a good word for it. Here where I live, every May they have the K-9 trials where police officers and their canine from all over, even other states, come and compete in agility obstacles, not the kind of agility I do, because we just jump over little, poles and go into tunnels. But these guys jump up onto like scaffolding and through fake windows, like they're gonna, go in and grab somebody, and then they run across the field and take somebody down who's in the bodysuit, and it's really fun.
That does sound fun. That sounds intense
It is
too. Because
intense.
think about that. Like they're really training to like save people, like you said, like go and save somebody or
Hmm.
get somebody out of there. That's amazing. Well, what kind of agility training do you do? Talk about it. That is so fun.
So I do. It's AKC. I don't know. Anyway, that's technical, but it's obstacles, and there's jumps and tunnels and tires you go through, and dog walk that they walk across, and then they have to stop, and they have to stop in a certain way, and it takes a long time for them to get, you know, okay, I have to have two paws off and two paws on, and and a teeter, and my dog, if I don't show her the teeter first, she just thinks it's the dog walk, and I'll just jump right off that teeter, and it's going through. She goes flying. We've done that a few
That is
times.
so cool.
Yeah.
How long does it take to get her like really familiar with the course and such, like to be able to complete the course? How long does
Right.
that usually take?
We have been doing this. So she just turned 9, and we have been doing this since she was 8 months old.
Aw.
Yeah. And really, she's so much better than me because I will forget where the course is. I will like, okay, where am I supposed to be going? And she'll be like, come on, we're going this way. Like, okay. But it took a long time. When she was little, I don't know if you know anything about Australian Shepherds, but they high energy.
Oh yeah.
And she really, really driven dog. And so we would do agility 3 days a week because I just needed to do something for an hour to tire her out so I can sit at my computer to work. Otherwise, she would be like all over me all the whole time. So we did a lot, and a lot of it's repetitive, just teaching them to turn and wrap around the cone and wrap around the jump, and then go through the tunnel and turn and come back, and going through weaves. That one took us a while, and I bought some weaves, so we would do it out in the backyard. So that also, it would stimulate her brain. We could go and do 5-10 minutes of that, and she'd like pass out. And I'd be like, oh yay, I need time. So that's why I started, is because I needed something to make her tired.
That's so funny. I know it becomes a work hazard. She's so high energy.
She is.
She needs to get out.
Yeah.
My neighbor actually has a farm, and she has 4 Aussies. And she loves them, and they really are very high energy, but they're super helpful with the animals and just, helping her, and just, they are by her side. They are so, so good. They are such good dogs and very, very pretty. I love Australian Shepherds. They are beautiful.
They are. They're so fun. We've done sniff. So we did some sniff work, learning how to, and that was fun. It was a little boring for her because she'd find it so fast. They'd hide the little container that had like cloves in it or something, and she'd find it so fast. And then they're like, okay, I have to hide it more. But I've tried other things with her. I did a barn hunt. I've never seen a look of disgust on a dog's face before. She found the rat. So it's all these tunnels that are covered with hay, and then they have to try to sniff out the rat. And the rat runs, and then the rat goes into a box, and then they get to see that they found it. And she saw it and backed up and would not go back in the ring. She was like, no. So it was pretty fun. But I wish I had a barn. I mean, like a farm, so that she could run around. But we do well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Plus that's time with you too.
Right.
She's having a blast with you. You guys are doing it. So, and that must be hard. I like how you said sometimes she'll guide you because you have to run like to each thing on the course.
I get a lot of exercise because of her.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Do you guys compete?
We have competed, and she won her novice whole class. I just haven't gone back because I don't particularly enjoy it. It's too stressful. Yeah, so we haven't come back. But we just do it now. We just do it to have fun and to bond. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's wonderful. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I
yeah,
think, she had her competition, she won, and that's it.
there you go. We've got the
She's the
ribbon.
best in class. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And it does sound fun, actually. I was thinking of a couple things or trying to think, and maybe I'm curious to hear your advice because I have a Rottweiler and she is so high energy. She's such a healthy, robust, like she loves to be near us. But she really just needs more exercise. I think we do put her on the runner. She's so powerful. She runs so fast. Um, do you have any tips on
There
how to
are,
get her going?
yeah, there are some good online obedience training videos, and just doing tricks, learning how to shake hands, or um, the up and the down, obviously sit,
Mhm.
stand, whatever. But um, dogs are so, like having a target where they have to hit it with their paw or with their nose. There's tons of fun little tricks, um, videos that you can learn to do with your dog, and they suggest doing like 5-minute training with them, and just because it gets their mind going, and that makes them tired.
Mhm.
So in the winter, Aubrey and I do a lot of trick training, so that just to keep
Oh, that
busy, well, because you can't go outside, especially here in Oregon. We're rained out.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And here it's still actually pretty cold here, too. And some days, and like you said, with the rain, it's like so muddy, and that's such a good idea to look up some of the trick videos. She does do a lot of good tricks. Like we
Mhm.
have her do like on your nose, and we'll put a little treat on her nose, and she
Nice.
catches it.
Hmm.
And she just loves doing those kind of things. She can do some of the basics, but I feel like some of the maybe that would be a good idea. Teach her some of the
Yeah.
like
I,
more advanced ones
right. And
or
there's
just different
Yeah,
ones.
there's fun ones like get in the box, get out of the box,
Oh.
stand on the box, jump off the box. I mean, there's fun ones. Go around the cone. I bought, those hazard cones. I just
Oh,
bought
yeah.
like a I don't know, 2 foot tall one, and we go around the cone this way, go around that way, go from one room to the other room and around the cone and back.
Oh, that does sound fun. Oh,
Yeah.
and it's so simple.
Yeah. They're very simple, and they just love to be doing something with you. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I always say that she's a reverse Sour Patch Kid because how they're like sour and then they're sweet? She's like
Yeah.
so sweet and you're petting her. And then if you stop, she like jumps up and tries to like pummel you,
Right.
because
She's like,
she
stop,
doesn't want you to
stop.
stop. I know. She doesn't want you to stop. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, how fun. Oh, that's wonderful. I love talking about your pup, Aubrey.
Yeah.
And it's such good advice. So tell us about this book, Standing Watch. Tell us about the hero and the heroine and what's the theme about? No spoilers.
Okay. Well, this is the third book in the Dakota K-9 unit. So, which is a continuity series that Love Inspired does, and there are 8 books that have an overarching mystery. Each book has its own mystery, its own hero and heroine, but drops clues to be solved in the last couple books. So this one's the third book, and it takes place in Mount Rushmore, which was really fun to do research on because I've never been there. It's on my bucket list, one of those places. And the hero is a canine officer with this black lab named Amber, and the heroine is actually his estranged wife.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so that for me that was a little of a departure from what I usually do. I have not really I doing the whole estranged married couple is a little okay. How do I get this? How do I get this? How do I, without dumping a lot of backstory, explain why they're estranged and then have to get them back together? And the heroine, is she sees somebody being murdered. This is in the opening page, so no spoiler. But so the hero, of course, he's going to protect his wife, even though they're estranged and not really talking, but he's like, I, you know, I'm going to protect you because he's the protector. And so it was a fun book to write, challenging from that aspect, really exciting to learn about the Dakotas and the whole area, and to make up a bad guy for them and why he was, I like to delve into the bad guys. I don't want them to be cookie cutters, so I also give them backstories and motivation. And yeah, it was a fun book.
That sounds really fun. You know what, there was a movie out that kind of reminds me of. It was with Gerard Butler and Jennifer Aniston, where what was that? Bounty Hunter, I
Oh
think.
yeah, yes.
Where they're kind of estranged too. And I feel like that would be kind of tough to write at first. Like you said, like up front, because you don't want to dump a bunch of backstory. You want
Right.
people to turn, but
Yeah.
you have to like have some kind of connection with them right
Mm-hmm.
away, but
Mm-hmm.
not too much so that it can like grow. So yeah, that I love that though. I think that sounds so compelling, especially because it just is so much tension there.
Right.
There's just so much tension that just knowing that they were like once together and then now, there's like a weirdness there.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you said about the bad guys, because I feel like the best villains are the ones where you can kind of either feel bad for them a little bit, or at least see where they're coming from,
Right.
in some kind of way, even if you don't agree with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love that you spent some time on the bad guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it deepens the story because you don't want somebody just, you know, slasher, slasher, slasher for no
Yeah, yeah.
reason.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Suspense is tough. I have been getting into a little bit more suspense personally. I love contemporary. But I am like the biggest baby there is. And anytime it's like, oh my gosh, they're about to get, oh no, I can't. And I like want to crawl under the covers. I'm like, so, nothing can happen to kids or I'll freak out. It's so, I don't know what that is, Terry. I think I need to just settle down. But I do really like it, especially with that kind of tension. So what kind of romance tropes would you say that is? Is it like an enemies to lovers kind of thing?
Um, yes, but not like true enemies. It's more like frenemies to lovers.
Frenemies, yeah.
Yeah, because they're not. It's not a acrimonious um, estrangement. I don't want to give away why they're estranged. You'd have to read the book, but
Yes, yes, you have to read it.
yeah. So yes, more of a frenemies to lovers, and just learning. I think they both had to really learn how to let their walls down,
Mm,
and and that's kind of a universal thing, no matter what the trope. We all have walls up, and that's one of my themes, is trying to figure out how to let those walls down so that you can be open to love and open to faith and open to reconciliation, or whatever, the theme of the story, forgiveness, um, allowing God to be in control and realizing you're not. So
Oh, I know. That's such a slap in the face to us sometimes whenever we're like, "Oh, I didn't even realize I was trying to take so much control,
hmm
and
hmm
look how much better everything is once I surrender." But that does definitely sounds like a second chances kind of thing and
yes.
reconciliation, which
hmm
is just beautiful. I love watching how the couples in those stories, their journey, how
hmm
they get there, because they have to, like you said, they have to break their walls down individually, but then there's something in the other person that kind of motivates that person to move closer. I
right.
love seeing that. I think that's like the best part, especially, of course, this is a Christian romance podcast. It's like my favorite part,
hmm
just seeing how they have that epiphany moment, where
right.
they're like, what am I doing?
hmm
I love you, and they like run to each other. And the fact that there's a dog in this, a Labrador retriever,
yes.
which is just wonderful,
hmm
absolutely wonderful.
hmm
we are almost at time, Terry, but
Wow.
before we go, so like how you said about incorporating those themes of reconciliation and talking about the faith, was there any special Bible verse that was kind of linked to maybe to this story, or even that encouraged you throughout your writing journey?
Oh, there's several that have encouraged me through my writing journey. This book. So at the beginning of of all of my books, I usually put a Bible verse, and the Bible
Mm,
verse for Standing Watch is, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to His purpose." Romans
mm.
8:28. And for this book, I just really felt like it spoke to um, the calling that both of these two individuals have on their life professionally. Him a police officer, she's a park ranger, but also as a couple and being a guiding light for others. So I felt that was appropriate for that one.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. I love that you put the verse in the beginning too of the books because it's so wonderful. And what a good like mindset to kind of get them in. I can absolutely see that verse working for them, especially because if they have history that they
Hmm.
have to get over
Right.
and, breaking down these walls and reconciling and, maybe some bad things happened and it has to work together for good.
Yeah.
They have to come together. I can totally see how that would impact their story. That sounds wonderful. I love it. And I just love that verse anyway, because what a wonderful hope that we can
Hmm.
have,
Hmm.
right? I mean, because so many junky things happen and it can be discouraging, but we know that he can work all things together for good for those who love him.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. So, Terry, where is the best place for our listeners to connect with you and then also to get a copy of Standing Watch?
So I have a website, www.terrireed.com, and I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, Standing Watches you can get at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, at the harlequin.com website. They also sell it there, and it's also an audio, so that's nice. Yeah.
Awesome. That is awesome. I've definitely been listening to more audiobooks lately. I feel like it gives you an opportunity to like listen while doing other things. That's what I love because
Hmm.
we're all busy and there's so many amazing books to read. So I
There
love that it's an
are.
audio. That's beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
And I will have links to all of those in the show notes. So if
Okay.
you're listening right now, just scroll right down and you can get a copy of Terry's book and get on her email list because,
Yes.
authors love that. And it is such the best way to connect. I mean, really.
Yes, I do. I have a newsletter and I do giveaways sometimes, and I do little behind the scenes on different, um, whatever book it is that I'm writing at the time. And I also, give recommendations for other writers that I read. And so, yeah, my newsletter is a great way to connect with me.
That's wonderful. I love that you give recommendations. I feel like that is such a great service because there are so many, everybody wants to know, okay, what's the next book that I should read? And
Right.
if you love books because you're reading in your genre too, yes, absolutely share them. I think that that's great. And everybody has their own unique voice that, would really appeal to readers and such. So I love that. But thank you so much, Terry. It has been such a pleasure. And I'm so happy to talk with you and just celebrate your wonderful author career, 65 plus books that you have written. Oh, we didn't even talk about how your book became a Hallmark movie.
Oh,
Oh, we got to talk about this for a
yeah.
minute.
Okay. Yeah. So,
Talk about your book, the Family Under the Christmas Tree.
Family Under the Christmas Tree. I was just asked by an agent to if I would be interested in writing a book with a dog for Christmas, and I said sure. And I saw this meme online of this Burmese mountain dog with a Christmas tree toppled over, and the caption read, "It wasn't me, it was the cat," or something like that. I mean, it was just some funny little thing, so from that, I just wrote this really cute little story about a photographer who comes home to take care of her injured grandma who has a Burmese mountain dog and falls in love with the neighbor and his nephew. And then it was made into a Hallmark movie and came out in 2019. And it's called Picture a Perfect Christmas with Merritt Patterson and John Core. And they did just such a lovely job. And they changed the Burmese to a little terrier. And but she does a great job.
Aw, I love that. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, and I got to be on set for a day, so that was really fun too.
Oh yeah, that sounds really fun. I was going to ask you about that. Were they did they let you be on set and like let you see how everything went? Were you guys in any scenes or no?
No, wasn't in any scenes, but I got to be on set and watching them, and I got a copy of the script, and so yeah, it was really super fun. And I have some pictures on my website of me with the actors, so that was fun.
That is so fun. Oh my gosh. Congratulations to you. What a
Thank you.
neat thing. I can't even imagine how amazing that is to see your story just kind of blossom into this movie and this other art form.
Right,
First of all,
right,
it's exciting enough anyway, even just seeing it in the book form,
right.
and sharing with readers and hearing readers' feedback. I think that is like the most wonderful part of all of it. But seeing it made into a movie and brought to life is so fun. I am so happy that you had that opportunity.
Yes, it was. It was great to hear my words being spoken. I'm like, oh, I wrote that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's great. I was thinking, it's funny. I love Burmese mountain dogs. Is it Burmese with an M or an N?
Bernese.
Burmese
I'm
or
not
Bernese?
Bernese. It might be
I think it is
Bernese.
an N.
I
Yeah.
think it's an N, but
I always mispronounce it and
me
say
too.
an M. But I think it was funny when you said that because I love those dogs. But then whenever you said they changed it to a terrier, I'm like, it's probably easier terrier on
Right.
set because the Bernese mountain dog.
Little dog opposed to the big dog.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Terri. Thank you for sharing your story and just sharing your heart today. And I am just so grateful to have gotten to chat with you.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'm very excited that your listeners will want to read.
Oh,
My
absolutely.
book.
No worries. I always say the listeners or the readers listening.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect.
If you enjoyed today's show, be sure to hit subscribe and tap the bell to get notified of new episodes. We love blessing our listeners with exclusive interviews and, of course, amazing books. Each month, we host a themed book giveaway where you can win a selection of Christian romance novels and a few extra goodies, too. This month's theme is Royally in Love. We're giving away 5 swoon-worthy Christian romance books featuring crowns, courage, and Christ-centered love. From modern-day kingdoms to fantasy realms, these stories will sweep you off your feet in the best kind of fairy tale way. Whether you're listening as the episode drops or catching up later, no worries. You'll always find the link to the current giveaway on our website, christianromancepodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening, and until next time, keep your faith, share the love, and happy reading.